Ben Simmons is one of the most polarizing players in the NBA, and he has come under a lot of criticism under these last few weeks due to his poor performance in the second round of the playoffs. Ben Simmons is an extremely misunderstood player, and a lot of people either criminally underrate him or overrate him. Let's analyze all of Ben Simmons' skill sets and what he can and cannot do. Let's start with his offense. Ben Simmons is an average scorer. Most of his points come from dump-off passes, alley-oops, cuts, and putbacks, the points that are typically scored by a center. Ben Simmons essentially is a center in the half-court offense. Sure, he takes the ball up the court, but he almost always immediately passes it and just runs to the dunker's spot. He takes the definition of pass-first point guard to another level. Look at how his eyes aren't on the basket even though his defender is sagging on him. He is almost never in attack mode, and he always wants to pass and just run to the dunker spot. To be fair, Simmons is actually really good at being in the dunker spot, but if he wants to be a more impactful offensive player, he really needs to learn more ways to score. Simmons does have some ability to create his own shot, but it's not great. His two best isolation scoring moves are posting up and driving. Simmons' post game is okay, but his only move is the hook. To be fair, it is very effective, especially because he is ambidextrous, but he lacks the confidence to really pull off any other move. A lot of the time he will just back a defender down and pass it. Simmons' drive game has enormous potential, and there are a few games every year where he is absolutely unstoppable when he drives, but he lacks the confidence, once again, to drive a lot. Simmons certainly has the talent and the ability to drive every time he touches the ball, but he is scared to do so for some reason. Right here, he has a 6'3" Bradley Beal and a 6'3" Russell Westbrook guarding him, but he refuses to abuse that matchup. Any other 6'10" player in the NBA would be begging for the ball, but Simmons is happy just sitting in the dunker spot. It's weird how low his confidence is. Ben Simmons seriously has the ability to score 20 plus points per game even without a jump shot, but he refuses to do so for some reason. Moving on, let's talk about his infamous shooting ability. Ben Simmons refuses to take a jump shot, plain and simple. The reason Ben Simmons just runs to the dunker spot after he passes is because he can't shoot. Most point guards stay outside the 3-point line after they pass and wait for a kick out, the way Kemba does in this clip. Simmons' inability to shoot causes many spacing issues for the 76ers. Look at this Houston Rockets 5-out offense where all 5 players can shoot the threes, opening up the paint and driving lanes. Now look at the 76ers offense. The paint is clogged up because Ben Simmons stands in the dunker spot, meaning his defender is with him in the paint. He completely gets in the way of the shooter here. This is a huge problem for the Sixers because their primary scorer, Joel Embiid, operates almost exclusively in the paint. Their secondary scorer, Tobias Harris, also likes to drive and post up a lot, and it's tough when the paint is clogged up like this because of Ben Simmons. I can go on and on about his lack of a jump shot, but let's move on to his free throw shooting. Ben Simmons is a horrible free throw shooter, about 60% for his career, and that was on full display in the playoffs when he shot 34.2% from the charity stripe. This is the lowest in NBA playoff history. I was talking about Ben Simmons being more aggressive a few minutes ago, but if he does become more aggressive, he seriously needs to learn how to shoot free throws. Maybe that means switching shooting hands. He writes on paper with his right hand but shoots with his left. Weird. Ben Simmons is definitely the most valuable in transition, where he can use his tremendous basketball IQ to always make the right pass. He can also use his incredible length, size, and speed to just get a bucket. Look at how he shoved 7-foot, 245-pound Lauri Markkanen out of the way for the slam. A lot of people like to say that Simmons' best trait on the offensive side of the ball is his ability to play make and facilitate an offense. However, his ability to do so has gotten extremely overrated over the past few years. Yes, he has been averaging anywhere between 7 and 9 assists for his whole career, but when you really analyze him, he's not really a facilitator or playmaker. He's just a great passer. When you think of a playmaker, you think of someone like Chris Paul or LeBron James or James Harden or Luka Doncic, guys who can create a play out of nothing. Ben Simmons does not really have this ability. Being a good playmaker is all about using your gravity to break down a defense and finding the open man. Look at this clip of James Harden. Look how Harden breaks down the defense, draws the double team, and finds the open man for the assist. Or look at how LeBron literally draws a quadruple team and finds the open Danny Green. Ben Simmons doesn't actually break down defenses to find the open man, he kinda just finds the open man. This is a very flashy pass, but he didn't actually break down anything, all he did was find the open man. Most of his assists come from handoffs and passes when the defense is asleep. These assists are still very valuable, don't get me wrong, and take a tremendous basketball IQ, but he's still not on the level of the great playmakers. Also, as we talked about before, Simmons is an extremely unaggressive point guard, and he tends to just pass the ball a lot. Just by nature of Simmons passing the ball a lot due to his unaggressiveness, he gets a lot of unintended assists. Let's move on to his defense, where I'll be a little bit more positive about him. Simmons to me was the defensive player of the year both this year and last year. The advanced stats back this up as well, as he finished 8th in defensive box plus minus. He's an incredibly impactful and versatile defender who can guard any position. I remember there was a stretch somewhere in this regular season where he guarded 6'7" Luka Doncic, 6'2" Kyrie Irving, 6'7" Kawhi Leonard, 6'5" Andrew Wiggins, 6'6" Devin Booker, and a 6'11" Giannis Antetokounmpo all in the span of 6 games. Simmons is the definition of a primary on-ball defender. He literally guarded players from 6'2" to 6'11". That shows insane versatility. This is where Ben Simmons' impact really comes from, and this is why he makes the All-Star team every single year. He has the ability to sometimes completely take the player that he is guarding out of a game. Ben Simmons is 6'10", has a 7-foot wingspan, is 245 pounds, but he still has the speed of a guard. That is just the recipe for a tremendous defender. Simmons' best ability on defense is using his length to jump passing lanes. Look at how he utilizes his enormous wingspan to jump the passing lane, and look at how he uses his size and his speed to slam it on the other end. Or look at this one where he baits the ball handler into passing and then punishes it by using his massive wingspan to once again get the steal. Ben is also just an extremely hardworking and disruptive defender. He always chases the ball. Look how he's looking for a steal here even though Plumlee passes it very high. He finished 4th in deflections this year with 3.5 per game. Because he is so massive, Ben is also a decent rim protector. Doc Rivers will even play him at the center for a few minutes in the regular season. Here, he just absolutely stuffs the tough and offensive-minded Thomas Bryant. Simmons does not have a Drew Holiday or Matisse Thybulle-like ability to stay in front of the ball handler and put him in jail, but he's still pretty good at it. And when his man does get the step on him, he's still very good at using his length to recover and get a block, steal, or force a pass. Look how Brogdon gets the step on him, but he still stuffs him from behind. Simmons is also a great defender in transition due to his guard-like speed and his center-like length. Look how hard Simmons hustles to get from one end of the floor to the other just to get the deflection. Ben Simmons is a highly impactful and versatile defensive player with many obvious offensive flaws, but his ability to still score and facilitate despite these flaws, as well as his ability to absolutely swallow players on the defensive end of the floor, still makes him an incredibly impactful all-star level player. People love to criticize and make fun of Ben Simmons, but it is undeniable that he is a high-level player. To me, Ben Simmons is a top 20 to top 25 player who has the potential to legitimately become a top 5 player someday. This is my first YouTube video, so please help me out by dropping a like or maybe even a sub. Any support is greatly appreciated. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.